Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Our usual shout out to our patrons. We appreciate all the tips and support. Just going to go towards making the channel better and adding more gains. We're about 3% of the way towards our goal in order to be able to add roulette. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but every percentage gets us closer. And as we've just started doing last week, I hope you guys enjoyed the exclusive videos for our patrons. And if you have any suggestions for us, please email us on the site. If you have any strategies or ideas or questions you'd like us to shoot a video on or just answer via email, go ahead and email us at sincityliving@gmail.com. If you're curious about the patronage, go ahead and check the video down below, or the description below the video, I'm sorry. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and jump right to it. And what are we doing today? Today, I am going to be filming a strategy that was sent to us by one of our viewers. Asked us to shoot a video on it. So I would be happy to do that. Now, when I do these, I don't read about it beforehand. I don't read the strategy beforehand. As soon as they mention there's a strategy, mention it in the title, I just file that one away. Usually take a quick snapshot of it without actually reading it, so that I can shoot a video on it, basically going in cold. So let's take a look at this. Let me start reading it and see what we've got. So how does this strategy start? Well, this strategy starts, they say they're looking at a $10 table. Now this has a high bankroll, $1,500 to $2,000, which means that they probably have a pretty decent bet going on here, or at least they need a decent amount out there for whatever hedges or other ideas they've got going on. You usually want to have 10 to 15 shooters worth of bankroll. So looks like they do either the 4 or 10. We're gonna go ahead and do the 10. And they do $160 lay. So $160, no 10. Okay, so what is the VIG on this? $8. So they've spent $8 on this, so it's $168. Now, they also have a $75 don't pass. Okay, fair enough. I like it. Now, optional says that they like to, as an option, you can do an $11 hard way. So an $11 hard 10 would be an option. It gets a little bit confusing in how they're phrasing it. Optional starting, of course, lowers the ways of losing from 3 to 2 by doing an $11 hard way of the 10 with $200 no 10. Although they stayed 160 earlier, so we'll stick with 160. Okay? And we'll go ahead and do the $11 no 10. However, this does not fully cover this. If we wanted to fully cover this, we need to get paid at least $168. This right here pays $77, $88 if you were to take it down, which you most likely would. You would probably take it down. So in reality, if you did the optional bet, which we're not going to do, I'm just showing it to you guys, we would actually have to do it for $22. So, or just 20 bucks, pays 160 and down, so we just eat the $8 VIG. So you would definitely need to increase that. So then it says the shooter goes and rolls. So we'll say they roll a 4. We'll pretend they do not roll a 10. At that point, they take the lay down and they do a $30 6 and 8. And a $10 field bet. Interesting. After that, they've got a bunch of options. We'll talk about the options in a moment, but this is the core part of their bet. The exceptions being if the point is a 6 or 8. If the point is a 6 or 8, then they keep the lay They say make the lay look like 160. I'm going to guess that they originally do a $200 lay instead of a 160 that they say at the top of the email. So if they did a $200 lay, then, oh, and I got the VIG wrong. I'm sorry. 160 would not have been an $8 VIG. It would have been a $4 VIG because the VIG is off of what you win. So we'll just say they do a $200 lay, in which case then it's a $5 VIG. Sorry, I misspoke on that. But then, of course, their hard way, if you did the optional hard way, was going to be a whole lot more. So they did a $200 lay. Because it's a little confusing. They mentioned $200, then they mentioned 160 later, then they mentioned 200 later, and then mentioned bringing it down to 160. So their exception to the rule, once there's a point, is if the point is 6 or 8. At that point, it says they take down their don't pass, but they will leave the lay in place, except they will reduce it to 160. And they will still place a 6 or 8. So if the point were a 6 or 8, that they would take this down and they would still place these and they would reduce this to 160. Otherwise, it's the same, 6 and 8 with a $10 field. So this portion right here is the core part of their strategy. This is a 6 or 8 with a $10 field. Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other options. So they say if the place bets and field if they've made over $100, then bring down the don't pass if you'd like, or slowly start taking it down. That's something that a lot of people don't realize, by the way, is that that you can reduce a don't pass instead of just taking it down. A lot of people will take it down entirely, either leave it up or take it down entirely, not realize they can reduce it. I actually had a player do this yesterday where they reduced their don't pass, and I told them, hey, it's actually kind of cool to see somebody do that because a lot of people don't realize they can. They were doing a $100 don't pass, they were doing a $50 don't pass. And when the point was a 6 or 8, they actually reduced it to $10 and did a $50 don't come. So most people don't realize it, but you can reduce your don't pass instead of just straight taking it down entirely. And the other option that they mention with reducing the don't pass as you're making profit is you can also slowly, if you've taken down your no 10, you can also slowly build it back up with your profits. Okay, interesting. So this is definitely a hedge strategy, if you didn't notice, from both the don't pass and from the no 10. Now, we'll ignore these right now, say they're not there. In fact, we'll just make them not there. So on the come out roll, they are in for $205, $280. Now on the come out roll, they're semi-covered here. There are 8 ways for them to lose that bet right there. There are 6 ways, however, for them to 6 of those 8 ways, they will win right here. So they would lose 75, but they would win 100. Now they paid a $5 VIG, so if a 7 comes on the come out roll, they're going to make a $20 profit. That's not bad. It's not a bad little hedge here. What's going to hurt them is if the 11 rolls. If the 11 rolls, they're going to take a hit right there. However, if a 2 or 3 rolls, they're going to take a win right there. So they've got 6 ways that they can take a $20 win, and then they have 2 ways that they can take a $75 loss, but there's 3 ways they can take a $75 win. So on a come out roll, this right here is actually not bad. Just for the come out and the come out alone, I like this as far as hedging against anything that can happen on world bet type numbers, 2, 3, 7, 11, 12. The danger here, like in all strategies, have a weak point. Every single strategy has a weak point. It's right here. It's a point coming out as a 10, because then they lose $200 or $205 technically, and now they have to have quite a few hits in order to make this back once they come out with this bet right here. So that's one possible weak point there. Not going to happen too often. As we know, the 10 does not come out all that often, but it does happen. There is nothing on dice that does not happen at least every single shift repeatedly. Last night, we were joking around, really amazed by the fact that this lady that had never shot dice before in her life did a come out roll for immediate winner 4 right after that. The third roll, come out point 4, immediate winner 4. It was absolutely crazy. So it's just as likely to happen with the 10. Yeah, this lady ended up rolling five 4s in the space of maybe 10 rolls. It was really crazy. So it's certainly possible to have a point 10, winner 10, and lose the 275. It can definitely happen. But let's pretend it has not, just so we can discuss the other part of this strategy. Obviously, if the point is a 6 or an 8, they'll take down the don't pass, but they will leave their lay up. I don't understand why they take the lay down if the point is a 4, 5, or 9, but that's just part of the strategy. Whatever they choose to do, this is how they play it. So then they've got this portion right here. This portion right here appears to be the main part of their strategy, and this is the only part of the strategy that I can honestly say I don't like. I don't like it because to me they're missing a piece. I don't mind the lay on the 10. Again, a couple 10s rolling can really hurt you, but it makes sense. I like it. It makes sense. It has a high probability of winning. It has a higher probability of winning than it does of losing. I truly, truly, truly do like the no 10, no 4 parts on come out rolls, especially if you have a don't pass. I'm a huge fan of those. It, of course, again, hurts really badly when you get a whole bunch of down behinds, but I really like that part. The part I don't like is this right here, because they're missing the 5. It looks like they're trying to do an iron cross, but more like a copper cross because they're missing a piece. 5 rolls, they lose the field, they don't win any money. So the only modification I would make to this is to actually turn this into a full-blown iron cross, if this is how you wanted to play it. Me personally, as you guys have seen from my other videos, if I were to take the lay down, which if I played this strategy, I probably wouldn't. I would probably leave this up if one of these numbers rolled. Actually, if any of these numbers rolled. I can't see a situation where I would take this down. If it came down on its own from, say, a 10 rolling, I would not bring it back up. I would probably do a lay over there. So there's definitely a possibility of a 10, winner 10, just annihilating my bankroll, which is why this one wants to start with a $1,500 to $2,000 bankroll. Because the odds of it happening repeatedly in a short period of time, pretty slim. So you're likely, if you lose a few hundred, you're likely to make that few hundred back up over the next 30, 40 minutes. But instead of this, I would probably go across. I would do probably a 135 across, since we're playing within the greens. Instead of doing the field bet, I'd probably do a 135 across plus 6 across for the dealer, so I'd be in for 141. So a little bit more money than we've got right here. But I would be getting paid a little bit better on the 5, 9, and 10. Or if I wanted to make it a smaller amount, like right here, they only have $70 in play, then I would probably just do 54 across plus $6 for the dealer. So I'd be in for $60, which is the amount they have on the 6 rate. But otherwise, it's not a bad strategy. I like the strategy. It makes some sense. I can see a whole bunch of things going on with it, but they all have some thought into them. My problem is just right in here, just because to me they're just missing a spot. If you want to take your lay down or leave it up to you. I would leave it up. But you could tell they're kind of aiming just to have a portion where they're pulling a profit, even if it's a small profit like the $10 in the field, pulling this little profit to slowly build up a little bit of bankroll. I just don't like having a hole. If you're on a $10 table and you don't want to do this much, just do $10. $10 on the 5, or 15 since you've got a $10 field. Just do $15 on the 5. Just so you have a little bit, so you don't have a hole, a gaping hole. That to me is what this is. But otherwise, not a bad strategy. Kind of like it. So hope you guys enjoyed this viewer submitted strategy. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.